Hi guys! It's the first week of April and I wanted to do a little garden tour of just our front yard. Nothing much is going on in the backyard yet. We have some vegetables that are about 2 inches tall. It's not much to see. It's exciting, but there's not much going on. But the front yard is definitely showing signs of spring, and I thought that it would be fun to share that with you. So I'm going to start here at the south end of our garden and just move my way north and share with you what we've been planting and what's blooming and what's going on. Okay, so I'm going to start here. It's not much, but there is the Forsythia barely in bloom. It's got a lot of leaf buds, so I have hope for next year. I was a little sad and disappointed because it's just not blooming at the rate that the neighbor Forsythia is, but maybe it's just going to be a little late because I'm seeing a lot more yellow buds come up, so maybe we'll be okay after all. You can kind of see it's like a little hill. It's mostly different kinds of grasses. We have some crocosmia and some ponytail grass. We have some barberry back here. And there's some yucca up on the hill, and then some more crocosmia down there. Another piece of Barberry here, and then we have some blue grasses in here, and a little bit of mondo grass, but it's harder to see in this lighting. Anyways, we're gonna come on down and see what we have going on. This is one of my most favorite views of our garden, and I just love driving up to the house this direction so I can see this full view of our front yard. So first up is I have some Pompous Grass that was transplanted from my daddy's garden, and then we have a little patch of what looks like weeds, and for some people they are, but it's actually an herb, which I'm forgetting the name of right now. I'll put it up on the screen. And then we've got some chain daisies or lawn daisies, which I love just letting them go wild in my garden. They don't bother me at all. They only last for a few weeks, and they give the spring garden a really sweet little touch. And then we've got the vinca. It's coming into bloom. There's a few little purple, blue, periwinkle colored blooms along this swath. This is a pompous that was here when we moved in. It's very old, and we've cut it back a couple of times. We're hoping that it's now where it needs to be so it can bloom. We're always fighting this ivy here, and again it's up the tree, which I pull back every year. It's time to do it again. Of course, we have daffodils. These are just the traditional daffodil, and then we have some rose campion. It's fleshing out and looking really good. Some more daffodils. And then we have our heather garden, which, well, first I guess I should say we have this rose of Sharon, which is a pink one, and it'll come into bloom later in the summer. But when we planted it, she had some shock, so I'm really excited to see all the new buds coming up on it. Then we have our heather garden, and let's see if I can see okay. Here we have the purple one and a white one. Look, my shadow keeps getting in the way. White one. This one comes into bloom a little later, and then the starfish ones I've not yet seen bloom, but and they're kind of losing their starfish shape. I'm not sure how to change that. Okay, then what do we have? We have the Russian sage is starting to come back. You could see this was all last year's growth. That'll get cut back, and the new growth will be allowed to grow. But I left these stalks here for a little bit for winter interest and a little bit to remember where in the heck they were planted. We've got some more daffodils that are done blooming here, and then our first tree in the area, which is a winter hazel. I'm really excited about the winter hazel. They are smaller than a witch hazel, but they have these beautiful blooms, and they've been in bloom for like, I don't know, maybe like 6 weeks. We planted one down there as well, and we have the staghorn sumac here. So these will be flanking. They'll get like 4 to 6 feet tall, and I think that'll be a really pretty combination. All three of these have fantastic fall color too, so that's going to be really fun. Of course, we have the weeping cherry, which I've showed in a couple of different posts already. It's just so sweet and beautiful and filled with blossoms. Really excited to have that in the garden. Everything else is just starting to like come up. So we've got red hot pokers and crocosmia and rudbeckia, more rose campion. We have euonymus over there. Of course, our irises are all getting quite large, but not ready to bloom for a couple more months. And I've got another Russian sage. This one's doing a lot better actually. I'll be able to cut the dead stalks out of there really soon. We come past the second winter hazel, and this area will stay open for our path, so if we ever need access for like large pieces for our house, like refrigerators or stoves or that kind of thing, then I can take out one of these railroad ties and pull our truck right in and park right here, so that it's easy access to the inside of our home. But the rest of it's all going to get planted out this way and planted out that way. So next thing we have is this is a Canomeles, a flowering quince double scarlet, and you can see her there. I am beyond excited to have this plant in my garden. I will probably do at least a blog post on it, if not a whole video about it, because it is so near and dear to my heart. But let's just suffice it to say that I am absolutely thrilled that it's here in my home. And I have a little patch of succulents here. Eventually we hope that it's gonna like just keep traveling all the way, and just have like this nice big swath of succulents. And eventually we're gonna eventually we're going to have red lava rock instead of this rough bark. So those white succulents will show up really well with the red lava. The next thing I have planted down here is a berberis. I can't remember which one it is. This is Rose Glow Barberry. My husband's a big fan of barberry, so we have quite a few of them around. And there's just such a huge variety of colors and habit that it's fun to plant them. And then at the north end of the area, we have another rose of Sharon, and this one we just planted. It is a white chiffon. So we'll have a pink one down there, right there, and then we'll have a white one down here, and kind of capping off this front area. It's going to be really fun to see in the future, because this whole area is going to be full of shrubs and trees. I can't wait to see it all grown up. Just behind the tree line here, we have a whole lot more irises. All of these irises were dug up and transplanted from a very dear friend's home. About maybe a full year, but maybe only like 10 months before she passed away from breast cancer. And so it's really special to have that in the garden now. It's like I have a little piece of her with me. I have another patch of rose campion here. We just planted this winter Daphne. It's really fun, super heavy heavily marginated. I really like it. Then we have a patch of Lucifer crocosmia, which is really beautiful red crocosmia. And then we have our hydrangea that was already here, traditional coastal hydrangea. And keep going here. I have my privets. This is like a grove of privets here. We just did some significant pruning on them, and my goal is actually to bring them closer to this level here, where they're going to be about about 3.5 feet tall, and let them get really nice and bushy down on the bottom, so they'll become more of a hedge opposed to just like a wild shrub. And the reason for that is I've planted the black lace elderberry here, and I'll take you around, but there's a lemony lace elderberry back there, and those will grow into really tall multi-trunked shrubs or trees. And I want to bring the privet down below their canopy. So I'm actually going to just take you around this way. This is the north side of our garden, looking south. So I'm actually standing in my driveway. So this is kind of, if you were driving down my driveway, this is the view you would have. So then we come to the lemony lace. It had a lot more sun last year, and so it got a lot taller. I really love the new growth. Isn't that beautiful? It's just like, it's so delicate and sweet, and oh my goodness, I'm so excited about it. Now the lemony lace has a red berry, and we won't be eating those. Those will be left on for the birds. Just as the privet has a berry, those are left for the birds. I'm not even sure if those are edible. But the black lace elderberry does have an edible berry, but you have to cook it first. It's not edible raw. So then we have our pots, and they're doing pretty good, starting to flush out. Some heuchera in there, some cast iron plants. I don't see any flowers on the primrose inside there. Probably doesn't get quite enough sun anymore. They've been in there for a few years. I had a recent video showing this jasmine getting placed into the new trellis, and everything looks good there. I definitely need to cut back this fern and let it come back. It's that time of year. The rose is already starting to really show up. You can see all the little rose buds all over it. This rose bush, you can see it is growing super close to the house, and it has been in bloom since we moved in. It always has like one bloom about to open. All through winter, 1 or 2 blooms, and then starting about now, it just gets absolutely covered in these sweet baby pink, adorable little roses. And then it just blooms all summer long. It won't stop blooming probably until late October, early November. Then we have the Azalea. She's coming into her full color. So much has opened up in just the last couple of days. Really fun to see. And then we planted this out this spring. Really sweet, white. All these are white, and then the lower ones are yellow, so it'll be fun when those open up too. It's just like a really sweet Eastery kind of barrel planted out. This was designed by me, but all the flowers were picked out by my husband. So it's always fun when he has a spark of inspiration and brings home plants and sort of challenges me to design around those choices. And it's good for me to think out of the box like that. Of course, I have my little bit of a plant hoard. These are recent purchases that have not yet been planted out. Another variegated plant. I keep trying to add a little bit more variegation in, because if you just do a quick scan, it's just a lot of green, and I want to add more whites and variegation in there so that when things are not in bloom, there's something interesting to look at. And then this is fairy bells. They're so cute. Look at that. Oh my gosh. I'm so excited to have these. And then we have some annuals back here that we'll be putting in some pots, some baskets, and just giving some fresh color. In the middle of the privet grove, we have hostas that are just barely peeking out, but I wanted to show you that I have these sweet forget-me-nots. I just love them. They're so cute. And then of course we have our Rhodie. She's not yet in bloom. That'll be another month or two as well. This beautiful hellebore has been in bloom for months, and just when I think, oh, that's her peak, she blooms some more. I mean, it's incredible. So I am really excited to have that, and it complements this Edwardia so much. If you like stand back here, look at the hellebore and the Edwardia together. Absolutely gorgeous. We have some Shasta daisies coming up. Oh no, these are mums. We've got lilies coming up. Lots of lilies coming up. Some more heather. The Pyrus is fleshing out. See the sweet like red new growth on there. Really pretty. A big patch of daylilies, another big patch of daylilies, and the Dusty Miller is starting to take off pretty good. I'm hoping that a couple more big blooms with seeds will kind of get it going over there so the patch can be more visible. Switch over to this side again. Of course, our Iberis is looking absolutely gorgeous. And then this is a mixed bulb container that I planted last fall. There, I will link the post below, but I made a video on how to make a kind of like a ongoing spring bulb fest. It's time for me to cut back these hyacinths, but you could see that the tulips are about to come up. There's some more tulips coming up all through here. There's tulips coming up, and then when those go away, there will be dahlias coming out. Behind there, I have a new rhododendron that just got planted. I think in the fall. Pretty sure we got it in the fall, and that doesn't make sense because it was still kind of in bloom, so it was late spring. This is the Gilbert Azalea, and it is a deciduous azalea, but it has these beautiful sunset orange flowers that are scented, and not all rhododendrons or azaleas are scented, so I'm really excited about that. And then we have one rose. We're looking to buy a second rose. These are climbing roses. This is a red climbing rose, and we just built this. I posted about that a couple of days ago. It's gonna hide this power pole really nicely. And then our roses are just starting to kind of flesh out. You could just start to see their leaves are nice and new, and I will showcase those at a later date when they're actually in bloom. Again, the hyacinths are all just sort of petering out. They're done, but the tulips are coming out and starting to bloom. And then of course I have the Fritillaria or guinea hens. So sweet, absolutely love them. Look at that checkerboard look, so adorable. And then of course this is the other side of the bank of irises that I showed you when I was standing over on that side. And we have some leftover Dusty Miller, and of course lots of tulips coming up. No signs of dahlias just yet, but the Lithidora is almost in full flush. This is that really sweet one that has the variegation on it. Really fun. They look like little pinwheels or something. We have Grape Hyacinths over here, and the Veronica has come back beautifully. And I just love this shrub. Also, it just gives it some nice color going on. And this is our like evergreen shrub area, and again some more Lithidora, a Hebe, a juniper. The eucalyptus is back there, giving some of that like dusty blue color, just a little variation, which is, it's nice because it contrasts really nicely with the cypress. And then we've got the rosemary is in bloom with some more variegated Lithidora below it. Now I'm at the flowering cherry with a little patch of Lithidora here, some tulips coming up, some more irises from this side, and just moving along. Kind of saw this again. Those are the red hot pokers and the crocosmia. So I'm just gonna switch over to this direction, and you can see that things are not like blooming yet. The herb garden is still just in its, just starting to flush out. This is a new azalea. It has no, I mean, it has buds on it, but it's not ready to pop open yet. The waterfall looks really pretty. It's just filled in beautifully. The yellow or green lavender is huge again and looking fantastic. I have a little tiny bit of chamomile in bloom down there, which is pretty fun. And then all of this is soft neck garlic that came up beautifully. My hard neck garlic in the backyard has not shown any signs of life, so I don't know what's going on with that. The shrub roses are just starting to barely get some buds on there, no leaves or anything yet, but the licorice plant looks fantastic, and the walking onions look really great. And it's time to do some trimming on, this is white sage and culinary purple sage, and I have some pineapple sage in this patch. It's just time to trim them back so they can flesh out really nicely. And then we've got some lemon balm and lemongrass in this pot. This was the lemon drop pot that I planted up last year. The rest of it was all annuals and they are gone, but the lemon balm, oh my goodness. You know anything about this? It smells like Pledge. If you can smell my fingers, it would smell like Pledge. And then this is my favorite azalea, but she's not in bloom yet either. It's purple, and that'll be fun when she's open. And of course, the backyard is not really blooming just yet, but right here at the bottom of the staircase, I wanted to show you, I have some skunk cabbage blooming, and it's blooming all along the creek behind that bank of rhodies, which is really fun to see. And that is it. So there's not much else to say. We're back in full circle. I'm back at the south end of the property. There's the brand new tree line that mostly got planted in the last 6 months or so. And this is early spring on the Oregon coast. So I hope you enjoyed the video, and there will be more to come. But in the meantime, make sure you hit the bell, like, and subscribe to the YouTube channel so you get notifications whenever I post a new video. And if you follow me on Instagram at Garden Solutions, you can get little sneak peeks into the garden and insights into my life on the daily. Thanks a lot, everyone. Have a great spring.